Hi, I'm Karen. Welcome to my kitchen. Are you struggling to get your family to eat their veggies? Well, if you are, then stick with me, because on today's show, I'm going to share with you some simple recipes they are sure to love.
Kick it.
For our first dish today, we are taking a trip to the Mediterranean with a very delicious, very simple and traditional hummus. If you haven't had hummus before, it is just a very tasty dip that is based with chickpeas. And there are so many things I like about this. But let's get started with the recipe. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add one can of chickpeas, and I've drained them. I like to use low sodium chickpeas because I like to add the salt myself, so I know exactly how much I'm putting in there. I'm just going to put these in the blender. This is such a simple recipe. I have reserved some of the liquid from the can of chickpeas because sometimes I like my hummus to be a little thinner, or you might like it a little thicker. All of that is going to depend on how much liquid you put in. So I like to keep some of that from the can of chickpeas. Now to this I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of chopped garlic. And you can use fresh garlic. I like the can that's in the jar because they've already done the work for me. And we are so busy these days. You know, we've got to save time and energy when we can. Now to that I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of dried oregano. You can use fresh oregano, it's delicious. If you do, use about 3 times the amount. Dried is much more concentrated. I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of olive oil, extra virgin, and you want to get a nice good quality olive oil for this. It will change the flavor. We're almost done. I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of sesame oil. Now traditionally hummus is made with tahini, which is a sesame paste. It can be a little expensive and it can be tough to find, so I like to use sesame oil. Just a little bit does the trick for me. You can also omit it if you would like. And I'm going to add 1/4 teaspoon of ground cumin. It gives it that nice kind of smoky flavor. Pop it up on here. To that, I'm going to add the juice of 1 lemon. I like it to have a nice lemony flavor, but if you don't like the citrus that much, you can just add the juice of half a lemon. You really want to make this your own. Now, one thing that I really love about hummus is that kids like it. And although it's typically something you'll have at a party or maybe at a restaurant, I serve it as my side dish for my vegetable at dinner all the time because my daughter loves this. And sometimes she struggles with wanting to eat, peas or broccoli, but I know she will always eat hummus. So I always have a can of chickpeas in the cupboard. I'm going to bring this back down. I'm not quite tall enough to use the little squeezer with it up there. There we go. I like this too because it's a workout. Get my upper body strength going. Another great thing about hummus is that you can change it up a lot. If you like sun-dried tomatoes, if you blend a few of them in there with this, it's incredible. Or even some black olives to give it a different flavor, or a little extra roasted garlic. All of those change it up completely, and it's so delicious. Whoa, that was juicy. Now here's where the reserved liquid from your can of chickpeas comes into play. When I start to blend it, the blender gets stuck a little bit, so you really need to add a little more moisture. You can use regular water if you'd like. That's absolutely fine. This is going to make a lot of noise. I'm gonna give it a little taste because I wanna know how much salt I need to add into there. It's really good, but it does need some salt. I'm gonna give it a nice pinch, and maybe a pinch and a half. That is it. That is how easy this is to make. I like to serve it in a fancy platter or dish. But something I also like to do sometimes is to put it in a piping bag, and if I want to get really fancy, I can make it into fun little shapes on the dish and just really kind of liven it up. Whoa! There you go. Now you can serve this with soft pita bread. I like to serve it with vegetables and chips. And like I said, this is a great side dish for dinner. But when you want to get fancy, look at that. Now does that not look like something you'd want to munch on at a party? Make sure you give this a try. I know you're going to enjoy it as much as I do.